What's up, YouTube? Top85 here. Got my first mail day of 2024. I just have to laugh because I got some pretty sweet cards here. So I'm going to show up my cards, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about something that's been on my mind that is unrelated to my collection. So there we go. Starting off, I got this 93 O-Pee-Chee Bonds card, and this is the Star Performers, but it's the one without the, I guess it's like kind of like a tan border. There's no tan border around it. So this is like a parallel to the insert. And I didn't realize that I didn't have this card. I had purchased a McGuire collection about a month ago, and the McGuire version was in that collection, and then I realized I don't ever remember seeing the Bonds, and I looked through my Bonds collection and found that I didn't have the card, and I never realized I needed the card. Anyway, there we go. Now I have one. Got a couple of bookend cards, starting with this Nifty 50. And this one is a base relic. It is numbered 1 of 50. Really nice card there to add to the collection. Man, 2024, starting off with a bang. And then the third and last card of my first mail day of the year. I just have to giggle when I look at this card. And well, first I'll show you the card. So it's a 2004 Donruss. Whoop, I'm fumbling this thing all around. Black press proof. And this card was recently graded. And it graded a PSA 7. And I've been looking at this card for the last day and a half, and I don't see any damage to it. So I can't figure out why it's a PSA 7. What's wrong with the card? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I know that PSA grade's pretty tough these days, so perhaps that's why I got a 7. I just can't figure it out. I can't. Anyway, that's for another video. Okay, and then now I have a little hobby thought that I wanted to share with you guys as well. I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and there is a guy that has a house that is literally a hoard of baseball cards. And I was sitting there thinking, if this guy, you know, when this collection leaves his possession, however it leaves his, at some point, this collection won't be his anymore. And I say that because we all have an expiration date, me included, of course, right? What's going to happen to these cards? I mean, let's say this collection is, I don't know, I just put a number out there. Let's say 5 million baseball cards, right? And it's 5 million, and it seems to be a collection that's 5 million baseball cards that nobody else would want. And so if you're going to put 5 million more baseball cards in the circulation, in addition to all the other baseball cards out there that nobody wants, how is that going to help the hobby? I mean, probably this guy is almost like, you know, keeping carbon monoxide from getting into the atmosphere. In other words, he's like hoarding all these cards and preventing them from getting out there into circulation, which is probably helping the hobby until it doesn't help the hobby. So I have a suggestion for fanatics, and I really think this is a good idea. I don't know how to get this suggestion into the board of supervisors or the board or whoever the shareholders or however that company works. I don't even know how Fanatics works. I don't pay attention. I don't care. But I got a suggestion for them. They should have a team of employees that goes out and purchases these giant hordes of cards that nobody really wants, and these giant hordes of cards that have no business being put back into the ecosystem of our hobby and they should just get rid of them. Incinerate them, put them in a paper shredder. Just get rid of them, because there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. I mean, I was on Facebook, I don't know, about a month ago. There was a post going around. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it, where they showed a warehouse of 1991 tops. And it said that they printed 4 million copies of each card in the 91 top set. I mean, 4 million copies. There's not enough collectors on this planet that that would want all those cards that were printed. We got to get rid of them as a hobby. They got to go. They got to go. There's a lot of cards out there that have to go. And I know a lot of people will probably be scratching their head and saying, why is Nate saying this? He loves collecting cheap cards. He loves putting binders together. And yes, that's true. However, there is way more of that stuff out there that isn't ever going to be in a collection like mine, that's just going to sit there in inventory for people than there will ever be purchased. I mean, just trust me, guys. There's just a ton of stuff out there. I mean, I've watched enough YouTube videos and seen hordes of cards and hear about stories of hordes of cards that I just know there is just way too much stuff out there. So if Fanatics put a team together and this team would go out there and buy these collections, and maybe that would even incentivize people to sell their cards that they don't know what to do with, and then they could put that money that they get from all this junk that they don't know what to do with and put it back into the hobby and purchase something that they maybe want. And then I was thinking about it even further, and I was thinking, well, not all the cards probably should be destroyed, right? There might be, like, I don't know, 1% or half of 1% or a tenth of 1%, you know, maybe 1 in 1,000 cards or 1 in 100 cards or whatever that is worth keeping around for the hobby, right? So if they had somebody that could sift through these cards, and the cards that they deem collectible or something that could be put back into the hobby, why doesn't Fanatics put that in like a product? Like, call it, I don't know, Fanatics, who knows? You just put it in a product, and that way people could sell their cards, get money for their cards, and then reintroduce it back into the hobby in a different way. And then maybe get rid of like the overpopulated stuff. Just kind of clean up the ecosystem a little bit and give people an opportunity to make a little money. And I know Fanatics, I know I've heard this before. I've never sat in any of their meetings or anything like that, But I've heard from a lot of people saying that Fanatics' goal is to 10x the hobby. Most notably, Rob from Burbank Sports Cards has had that conversation many times. And how are you going to 10x the hobby when there's the vast majority of what is out there nobody wants? And I'm talking about even what's being printed now. And what I mean by that is I see a lot of people saying, like, or I'm hearing a lot of stories of collectors saying that they're not going to buy wax anymore because if they spend $100, they'll get $10 in value by opening wax. Whereas if they just go ahead and buy singles and spend $100, they're going to get $100 in singles. So why am I going to open up product when I could just go out and buy what I want? And that's going to be a problem if you're trying to 10x the hobby. So I think what Fanatics needs to do, one, is they need to print less cards so that people will have more interest in what they print. And one way that they could print less cards is to maybe repack, kind of like what Fairfield used to do, repack older stuff when they buy these hordes of collections and get people interested in older stuff, while at the same time kind of cleaning up and getting rid of all this like exhaust that's just out there. There's just so much exhaust. Hopefully I'm making sense, guys. Maybe I could refine this video later, do a follow-up, and try to articulate what I'm saying a little bit better. This is just me pressing record, sharing my thoughts. I actually sat up, I was sitting there thinking about all this stuff last night as I was going to sleep, and I had a lot of really, what I think are good ideas. I don't know. Hopefully you guys will comment down below. Let me know what you think. And perhaps fanatics will see this video at some point. But I doubt it'll blow up. Anyway, it's just my thoughts. It's one guy's thoughts. I mean, I'm just a hobbyist. I'm a pure hobbyist. I've been around since 1983. I know, I talk with a lot of hobbyists. I hear what hobbyists are saying. I hear what collectors are saying. And so these are just ideas I have. So in a nutshell, buy hordes of cards, fanatics. Destroy the vast majority of them. The select few that you hold on to, repackage them and get them back out there in the hobby. And so what this will do, three things, fanatics. One, it'll clean up the ecosystem in terms of what's out there. It'll get rid of a lot of exhaust. Two, people could actually get money for their cards that nobody wants. And three, by repackaging the 1% or less of cards that are worth saving, it'll put interest out there in older cards, which will perhaps, or probably will bring interest into newer cards. And four, if you print less cards, it's going to add something to that. People aren't going to be spending $100 and getting nothing back, except maybe, 1 in 1,000 people might get that golden ticket. And I don't think that's an incentive enough for an average collector to buy wax anymore. Not that 1 in 1,000. Maybe a gambler, yes, but not a collector. And this is a hobby. This is not, the purpose of this hobby shouldn't be to gamble. It should be to collect. Anyways, guys, that's my video. That's my suggestion to fanatics. This is my first pickup of 2024. I'm absolutely thrilled. Hopefully my idea, maybe a sliver of it will be used. Who knows? Guys, let me know what you think of my idea. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, until next time, happy collecting.